our beers in, we've all been to the little boys' room, the little girls' room. So we'll get on with it. On to the next block of speakers, another three great speakers. Next up is Laura Debney. Laura's here tonight, and when I saw the title of her talk, well, I gotta be honest, I thought, is this going to be something that we can show on our website, on the video afterwards? And then she promised me that it actually is all about her sex life and not about a Big Dipper. No, sorry, I got that completely the wrong way around. It's all about her sex dipper and not her big life. Laura Debney.
For the record, I'm more nervous about this than what I'm about to talk about. So, apologies if I mess up the rotation at all. I'm just going to go for it.
Okay, do it.
Yes!
Do it!
So, tonight I'm here to talk about something very important to me, something that takes up most of my conscious moments, most of my dreams, most of my money and most of my energy. That thing is theme parks and roller coasters. So, how can I spend so much time with such things, you may wonder? The majority of coasters are over in a matter of seconds, and I've only spent a minuscule fraction of my life actually riding them. The truth of it is, I'm an enthusiast. Some might think that being an enthusiast makes me a bit of an expert or connoisseur of roller coasters, and this couldn't be further from the truth. I'm going to delve into what makes us such bizarre people. That's not mine, by the way. So before I go any further, I must add a disclaimer. Not everything I say applies to every enthusiast. These are my own observations. So why are we into roller coasters? Some people love them, some people hate them, some people aren't too fussed either way. I have a number of theories about this, two of which I'll talk about now. The first is obvious: thrills. They go fast, they go upside down, they subject you to G-forces that produce a rush of adrenaline, and that's where the average punter stops considering the ride. But to enthusiasts, it is so much more. There's a vast range of different coaster experiences that I would love to tell you about, but it would literally take me days to describe them all. No normal person cares that Nemesis was the first B&M inverted coaster in Europe, or that Intamin is known for its downtime problems, or the log flume we just rode was engineered by Mack Rides in Germany. But we do, and when a new ride is announced as a launched Intamin, and not that new SNS 4D we've read about, thanks to Tom for the correction, the online community will explode with dissent, but the public will rave about it on Twitter because it goes fast and looks impressive. That doesn't even make any sense. So the second aspect is immersion. Theming is one of those things I feel only some members of the public really appreciate. But to an enthusiast, theming and story are a core aspect of the ride experience. Many feel embarrassed to admit it, but when we approach a ride, we see it as a self-contained event. What has happened here, and are we in danger? The ride is a set piece in a much larger event which we want to lose ourselves in. To use an example at Thorpe Park, take the island on which the Swarm coaster sits. Destroyed buildings and vehicles litter the area. We approach anyway and board the coaster, in this case a screaming alien sweeping across the island. We submit ourselves to it and then revel in the euphoria of surviving this fantastical experience. A more accessible example is that based on intellectual property such as Saw. The ride is one of Jigsaw's traps, and we are one of the few who survive his tests. You won't find many enthusiasts who will admit that so freely, but I'm sure for a large number this sense of danger and contest is a major appeal. This brings me on to some of the problems we face. We are hard to please. The more of these fantastical places we experience, the more we want from them. Continuing to use the Swarm as an example, many more silicon enthusiasts bemoan the lack of scenery. It doesn't look like a real scene of urban destruction. Entire forum threads are dedicated to whether certain effects are working or not, for example, fire or mist. A celebrated news update recently was for the new toilet signs at Exeter along the towers. We desperately want our day out to be something out of the ordinary and to lose ourselves in our surroundings. When we find a hole in the theming or maintenance of a ride, it's a kick in the teeth. Thankfully, Merlin, who own the big 3 UK parks, take this into account and have themed their rides to fit with scenes of disrepair, such as alien attacks and natural disasters. This brings me to a second bugbear: the general public. We We don't feel they appreciate the parks or the work companies like Merlin do. They badmouth the parks on social media to the point where some enthusiasts cannot stay silent, because we want to celebrate the joy these places give us. Worst of all, we think they're ignorant. They get so impressed with ride experiences we've far surpassed. Think stealth is super high and scary? We've been on King Dakar. Think Rita is fast? We've been on Formula Rossa. Praise an average ride in earshot of an enthusiast and they won't be able to hold back reeling off a list of much bigger and better rides thousands of miles away in countries you'll probably never visit. We hear ridiculous things in queue lines like Oblivion does a loop when it goes underground, or someone blurts out a spoiler for a ride. A notorious queue for this is 13 at Alton Towers. Don't know what the secret is? I bet someone sitting next to you will gleefully spoil the surprise for you. This all may make us sound like intolerant nerds, but there's so much more I could cover explaining why we think the way we do. But in the end, all we really want is high-quality, immersive entertainment that everyone can have no choice but to lose themselves in and enjoy. The thrill of the ride is only part of it. Thank you.